Hi guys and welcome to my channel. This video my topic is statistics. The subtopics are mean and mode and I'm doing this for group data. Now I did a video already where I covered on group data, so I'm going to show you the difference between the two. This subject is really covered in Form 4 and Form 5 and it's done under the subject of math. So please stay tuned to see what I have in store with my few worked examples and their detailed solutions. Okay, so with statistics, there are really two types of data. The data can be ungrouped data or grouped data. Ungrouped data is when it looks like this. Like say for example, I had a mark, the mark was 0, this is the frequency. There are two people who scored a mark of 0. There's one person who scored a mark of 1, and so on. Two people who scored the mark of 6. This is ungrouped. There I know specifically that two people scored 0, etc. However, ungrouped is where we have categories like this, 1 to 5. So this is telling me that in this other type of data now, whatever information they were collecting, that when they collect the data for the marks ranging from 1 to 5, one person scored that, right? Again, the range of 6 to 10, four people scored that. So this is group data, right? So I will be continuing with group data in this video to show you how to calculate the mean given a table like this. This is my first example. They gave us a table here where they say this is actually corresponds with the mass of 100 people, and they ask us for the mean mass and the modal mass. Now, from observation, I can see that this is actually group data because this is a class interval. This is telling me the category, the class interval of 50 to 59 was 5 people, 60 to 69 was 9 persons, and so on, right? So because it's group data, my approach to this would be different than if it were ungroup data. So these are the steps I would do.
Now it says here that my first step is to add a column that calculates the midpoint of the class interval. Now this is the class interval, 50 to 59. So I'm going to add a column to the right here, and I'm going to calculate the midpoint. So it's going to be 50 plus 59 divided by 2 will be 54.5. That'll be the value here. And I'll repeat this process for all of these. Now once I've done that, I will get this column here. So that completes this step and this step. So now I'm going to add another column to the right of the midpoint column, and I'm going to calculate the product of the midpoint value and the frequency for that line. So that simply means I'm going to add a column here like this, and I'm going to multiply this value 5 by this value here, and I'm going to put that here, right? So I'm going to do that now. Doing this, I would get these values here. So how did I get that 271.5? Well, that's simply 5 multiplied by 54.5. That's how I got that. This value here was 9 multiplied by 64.5, etc. So I have completed step 3. And they said to repeat this step for all the lines. Step 4 now, they say sum the total of the columns added in step 3. So I have to sum this column here. So I want to get the total value here, and when I work that out, I'll get 8169. So now that completes step 4. Now I'm going to take this sum from step 4 and divide it by the total number of observations in the question. This is the mean. So now everyone, I've gotten to the final part of the mean part of the question, and I'm going to take this sum, which is the summation of f of x, and divide by the summation of f, right? This is the summation of f, and this is the summation of f of x. So this is going to be 8169 divided by 100. So the mean, everyone, is going to be this, 81.69. So that, everyone, takes us to the end of this part. Now, to do the modal mass just simply means the most frequent category. So the most frequent category here would look like this. It's 33. 33 was the most frequent value. Well, it's the highest value, and that occurred for this category. So the modal mass, everybody, will be between 80 to 89 kilograms. So now let's move on to example 2. Example 2. Now they say in this one, the scores of 60 students is given below from an exam. Calculate the mean score. So let's do this. First, to do this now, we have to first analyze, is this group data or ungroup data? Now because I have this category here, 1 to 5, this means that it is group data. So now let me put up the steps that I need to follow to calculate the mean. Now again, the first step says to add on a column to the right, and we're going to call this class interval. The class interval is going to be the midpoint of the first category, right? So that's 1 to 5. It will be 1 plus 5, 1, 2, 6, 1, 2. So that will be 3. So I will get 3 for here and so on. And I'll repeat this process for all my lines up till this line. So I'm going to fill that in column now. So completing this step, I get these values here, 3, 8, 13, 18, etc. So again, how did I get the 18? It was simply because I took 16 plus 20. I got that total and I divided by 2 and I got the 18. Now that completes this step and this step. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add another column to the right of the midpoint and I'm going to multiply the value that I have here by this value here. So it will be 1 by 3 will be 3, 4 by 8 will be 32, and so on. And I'll repeat this process here. Completed that calculation, I get these values here. So that means I've completed this step, and now this step. Now I'm on to the summing of the second column that I added on, right? So this is the first column I added on, the second column I added on. So once I sum this up now, I'm going to get 1465 here. So then that means that my mean is going to be the summation of f of x over the summation of f, which is 1465 over how many people were there? 60. So then everyone, my mean for this question is 24.4. So that takes me to the end of my video. So I hope you all understand how to find the mean and the mode given group data.